welcome back to The Rush. It is always a pleasure to get great advice from Diana Steele. She is a dietitian. She's here today to talk about, well, how we can have more energy, basically. Diana, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
So what are we covering today?
Sports nutrition. I think, now that you've done your sun run or maybe the BMO half marathon and you're thinking, maybe I'd like to speed up my time a little bit, or maybe I'd like to train for a full marathon. What is the X factor that's actually going to help you get farther? And the big thing is nutrition. Everyone's looking for that little extra, supplement that might help them, but really the number one ergogenic aid is nutrition.
Ergogenic. Explain that word to me.
That means improving performance. The number one thing we know improves performance is food.
So this is great for people who are trying to hit the next level with whatever they're doing physically. So let's start with some of the pieces of advice. Everybody loves smoothies because they're easy peasy. So what should we be putting in them?
Well, I think that it's important to have a combination of carbohydrates and protein. And when you're looking at what to eat before exercise, you really want to make sure you've got a good source of carbs, not too much fat. So it should be a low-fat dairy or yogurt or whatever you're putting in, and a little bit of protein just to anchor that energy and make it last longer. If you've only got 10 minutes though, you're not eating a smoothie. Maybe if you haven't eaten in a long time, you're probably having a little bit of an energy drink and then going, or some raisins and then going. But if you've actually planned and you've got about 45 minutes to an hour, then you can have a smoothie. And so this smoothie here that I made just a couple of minutes ago is a really interesting combination. It's banana, mango, mint, and a bit of cardamom with ice.
That sounds really delicious.
It smells so nice.
That sounds great. So this is 45 minutes to an hour before your physical activity.
That's right. And so that way you're going to have time to digest it. It doesn't have a lot of fiber, so it's not going to cause some problems when you're running.
Right.
If you eat a bean burrito, you're going to have some digestive problems when you're running.
Sure are. And you mentioned mixing proteins and carbs. Why is that so important to do the right thing and not skip out the carbs, which is what a lot of people think they're supposed to do?
Yeah, carbohydrates are the number one fuel source. So they are broken down and digested and absorbed as glucose, circulating in your bloodstream and being deposited as glycogen in your muscles and in your liver. And that is the number one fuel source your body uses when you start exercising. You eventually tap into your fat stores in aerobic exercise that's going on for a long period of time. So as a marathoner, you would eventually use some fat stores. But for that first hour of exercise, you're using primarily carbohydrates. So you want to make sure that you're getting those carbs, which then also means you want to replace those carbs after exercise as well. So after you've had your pre-exercise smoothie or maybe some oatmeal, then you can go on to, okay, how long am I exercising for? What's the number one thing to think about? Well, hydration. So having water. And if you're only exercising for an hour, that's all you need to think about. If you're exercising for 2 hours or 3 hours in the marathon,
should you pack a snack?
Pack a snack or stop at those stations along the way and make sure that you've got a source of carbohydrates. So that would be your gel or raisins if you want, or Gatorade or something like that. And then you also want to make sure that you've got some electrolytes if it's really hot out to replace your electrolytes. So some sort of electrolyte hydrator with potassium and sodium.
How important is hydration when it comes to sustaining your physical activity?
If you are 2% dehydrated, you're working at 90% of your capacity.
Really?
So your performance is reduced significantly. And as your dehydration goes on, then of course you are working less and less efficiently.
Is it better to do those electrolyte-filled drinks than it is water, or is it just depend on whether you're doing a long distance?
Water by itself is great for an hour, but after that you are losing potassium and sodium, and you're going to start getting cramping, and it's harder to absorb the fluids without the electrolytes, so you need the electrolytes.
Okay, let's talk about some of the other great healthy snacks that you've got going on here.
Yeah, so then recovery after exercise, you're trying to replace your carbs again, and you also want some protein. So it's a 3-to-1 or a 4-to-1 carbohydrate to protein ratio. So great sources of carbs would be things like bread or fruit or yogurt. So I've got some fruit and yogurt here, which would be a great recovery snack after exercise.
So why is it important to replace the carbs after the physical activity?
Yeah, if you don't replace your energy after exercise, you've really sort of lost a window of opportunity. You have more of this enzyme called glycogen synthase, if you want to know, which is at a much higher level right after exercise. And so if you eat right away after, you'll take that carbohydrate and store it back as glycogen in your muscle and in your liver, ready for tomorrow's workout or another workout that day. If you're not working out tomorrow, it doesn't matter what time you eat. But if you are working out tomorrow, you need to eat within 30 to 60 minutes after exercise.
So this would be really important advice to people who are specifically training for something.
Exactly. Yes. Otherwise, by Friday, you're just drained and you're not getting through your workout. So you want Monday to be as good as, or Friday to be as good as Monday.
Okay, what's next here?
The other thing that you're losing when you're exercising is iron and calcium, and we don't actually realize it, but even in our sweat, we're losing up to 10% of our daily calcium needs. And so replacing the calcium in your snack after exercise is really important.
I had no idea that you lost calcium.
I know, and so it can affect your bones, and of course, you know, risk of those bone fractures, significant, especially for runners.
Yeah.
So things like, well, the yogurt, like I mentioned, also milk or amore, which is milk and almond milk. It's combined.
Now, I'd never heard of this before because we always hear about almond milk or coconut milk or milk, dairy milk if you like, but this one's a mix.
Yeah, so it's actually dairy milk with roasted almonds, and the benefit of this one is it's giving you 50% more calcium than a glass of milk. So in one glass, one cup, you'll get 450 milligrams of calcium instead of 300, which you would get from normal cow's milk.
And we've also got a banana here, which is an easy, portable emergency snack.
And source of potassium, so another one of those electrolytes, and an excellent source of carbs. So the combination of the banana and the almond milk would be a great recovery snack because you're getting your carbs, you're getting the protein that's in the milk, and you're getting some calcium. Not a lot of iron, though. So iron is another one of those nutrients that you want to get. So you could do something like a peanut butter and banana roll up, and there's iron in the peanut butter.
Those would also be a great snack for kids. Those would be a crowd pleaser.
And you don't have to worry about refrigerating it. So you can take it with you in your workout bag if you're finishing your run far away from home, and then have that in your car or wherever and eat it on your way home. Because remember, that 30 to 60 minute window is very short. You may not have time to get all the way home and make your food.
Make something to eat by the time you've missed the opportunity. And what's this one here on the end?
This is salmon. And so another thing that you tend to need more of is omega-3s because of the inflammation that you have. You want an anti-inflammatory. So your salmon would be a great filler in a wrap. And I've just got some purple cabbage in here, which is great. And then having an orange with it, it gives you some vitamin C, which will help you absorb the iron that's in your salmon. Or having strawberries with your peanut butter, you'll absorb the iron better.
It's interesting hearing about all the food combining that you're doing here and how they work well together. So there is a science to the snacking.
There is. So that's why if I say, oh, you need lots of carbs, a little bit of protein, some calcium and iron, people go, what?
How do I do that?
Any one of these things would be good. So eggs and oranges. And then this smoothie here, this is blueberries and strawberries and amore, and that's it. A little bit of ice, and it's a great smoothie. You can pour it into a to-go cup and just have it ready for you for when you get out or when you finish your workout. You could put it in a thermos if you want, and it can be a nice, refreshing replacement of your protein, also your calcium, and some excellent antioxidants, which we know we have a lot of oxidative damage when we do a lot of exercise, so getting those antioxidants from the berries is really important.
Man, so much great advice. If you want to find out more about Diana Steele, as we mentioned, she is a registered dietitian, and you can find her website, tons of great information there. It is eatingforenergy.com. We're going to take a short break here on The Rush, and we will be back with more after this. Don't go away.